Hey everybody, you are looking at a new gun purchase of mine. I'm going to turn it this way just for right now. This is a Taurus 454 Raging Bull. I've never had a Raging Bull before, and I've always kind of wanted one ever since I saw it in Resident Evil 2, way back in, what was that, 1998 or so, late 90s anyway. And I thought I had a case of Mandela effect going on not too long ago because I was looking through, game websites, and I found that the Raging Bull actually wasn't in Resident Evil 2. And I thought, well, now I remember it being in there, so what's the deal? Well, there's a file in the game that talks about the Raging Bull, but you actually don't get it. I think you get something else. But with Resident Evil 2 being remade recently, and myself playing the hell out of it, actually, I've gone through a couple playthroughs of it already so far. I love that game, by the way. But with Resident Evil in mind, I thought I would pick this gun up. This was at my local gun shop. The original price was $8.59. They had it marked down to $7.29. And after looking at the gun, I actually got them to come down even more on it, and I got this gun for $649. And the reason is because, where's it at? I don't know if you can see it, but right there's a little bit of rust. Now, it looked worse in the store, and since buying it, I just used some spit to wipe off most of it. But it does have just a little bit of rust on it. But for the most part, this is just, in general, one of the filthiest guns I've ever seen. They've had this gun sitting at their store, I think they said for like 3 years. You can see right here, there's a little bit of... I'm trying to find ways to make it show up on the camera, but it's a absolutely filthy gun. Right in there, see, around in here. It's a filthy gun, so we're going to clean it up. Anyway, I think I got a great deal on this gun. But let's try to clean it. If you'll give me just a minute. Okay, I'm actually going to start by taking this grip off of here because I don't want to get a bunch of solvents and chemicals on that grip. This is a gunsmith screwdriver set that I got it online for like $10. It was a really good deal. Whoa, Allen, what in the hell? Hold on a minute, I can find my stupid ass Allen tools. Okay, here we're back. Gotta crack open a cold one for this. Alright, let's figure out what kind of Allen key it takes. I've never seen a gun take an Allen key. I don't know if it's standard or metric or what. God dang. I have a feeling it's going to be metric. Garbage. There we go. Alright, for anybody wanting to do this at home, I believe that is a 3mm Allen key. And if I'm not mistaken, this gun has a Tang style grip like a Ruger. Come on. Set that up there. Okay, there we go. Alright. And we're back. So we got that right there. There's the key next to it. So let's take this grip off. There we go. Yeah, just like a Ruger. And there's your grip. What a powdery, kind of sandy dirt in there. Wow, there's a lot of crap in there. Anyway, I like this grip, by the way. It reminds me of a Hogue absorber grip, but it actually fits my hand a little better because the finger grooves aren't so, I don't know what you would say, they're not so obnoxious. They're really, they're finger grips, but they still leave a lot of room for your fingers to move around and grip where they need to grip. Because if you want a higher grip, see, I have to kind of move my fingers up a little bit. But if I want just a normal grip, then these fit my fingers. So anyway, let's get to the gun. So yeah, this looks kind of like a Ruger in that you got a coil spring back here. Smith uses leaf springs like a Corvette. So if I were to break this down, I would have to pull the hammer back, put something right in there, let the hammer down, and then you could pull this out. But I'm not really doing that today. I just want to clean the gun up. But Taurus is kind of interesting in the revolvers because they're kind of a mix between Smith and Ruger. This right here is like a Ruger, but having a side plate with these 3 screws, that's very much Smith & Wesson. So they're kind of a weird little mix, which I kind of dig. I think that's kind of interesting. Anyway, so let's start out with some CLP. I'm just going to douse this thing because it's absolutely filthy. Absolutely filthy. Let's see. And then a lot of times I just like to use a patch, or a couple patches like this, just start wiping it all down and letting that. This is CLP, by the way, break-free CLP. Just start letting this get in there and soak everything, get it all nice and good and covered. See, look, it's already picking up a lot of junk. Kind of liked this gun because with a 454 you can also shoot 45 Colt, and with the Taurus Judge being so popular these days, 45 Colts kind of made kind of a resurgence. You can actually, used to you wouldn't be able to find much 45 Colt anywhere because it wasn't exactly a dead cartridge or anything like that, but it just wasn't that common. But now that the Judge has done so well, you can find it in a lot of places. So I figure, say I shoot this and I decide that I don't like the 454 Casull or anything like that, well, you can still deer hunt with a 45 Colt and do just fine. And with this, you can even shoot the high end, like 45 plus P, 45 Colt plus P that you would normally shoot in like a Ruger Super Red Hawk or something. This Raging Bull has 2 cylinder latches. You got this one and you got this one. And that's also kind of a Ruger thing. Ruger does not have 2 latches, but Ruger has a hard lock up here, hard lock down here, and then right there. And that's something Smith & Wesson has kind of tried to do, but I think Smith feels like if they did it, they would be admitting that Ruger had a good idea, so they don't do that. What they'll do is they'll have a ball detent right there, like a spring-loaded little ball bearing in a little spot right there, and when you shut the cylinder, the ball detent hits a little thing here, and that kind of holds it in place. But there again, Taurus decided to just say, screw it, we'll just do what Ruger did. And so it actually has a second cylinder release right there. And that makes this a very strong gun. Now the Rugers don't have a second cylinder release right there. What they've got is when you push this cylinder release, it pushes something that also activates the second one up here, and then that's what releases the cylinder. So really this has a lot more in common with a Ruger than a Smith. If you look at Taurus Model 44 or Model 66, it actually has more to do with a Smith, or more in common with a Smith, but they'll still have the coil spring in the back here. There's a lot of old urban legends about why Taurus is a lot like a Smith. One of them is that Taurus got its start with old Smith & Wesson equipment, old Smith & Wesson tooling equipment and machines from the Smith & Wesson factory. It was stuff that Smith wasn't using anymore, so they sold it to these guys, Taurus, and that was the beginning of Taurus firearms. So this is pretty clean right here. It's just going to take a few patches to get that off, but I'm actually going to continue letting that soak a little bit. I'm just going to run some cleaner down the barrel here. I've got like 2 or 3 cleaning kits here out of frame that I'm getting into. Also, CLP can, where's my 45 brush? CLP also is supposed to work on getting rust out of stuff a little bit. There's 45. And since this had just a smidge of rust on it, I'm going to see if I can't. There it is right there. Now the CLP is supposed to kind of get in there and help get that out. And I hope it does, because if so, that means I got a steal on this gun, because it was originally, what did I say, $859, and I wound up getting it for $649 because of that little bit of rust and how dirty it was. Of course, I knew that I would take it home and clean it up anyway, so it didn't matter. I haven't shot this yet. Kind of excited to shoot it, kind of scared. I have to admit, I was nervous when I first shot my 500 Smith & Wesson mag too. The 500 actually does not kick that bad. I do not think that's going to be the case with this, because of the fact that this is a lot smaller of a gun. This is not a 10-inch barrel gun. This is a 5-inch barrel, and it is ported, so I don't think it's going to be as bad as Super Red Hawk Tokalot, but it's still going to be bad. It's still going to be bad. But like I said, if I shoot it and it is that bad, just shoot 45 Colt out of it. So I'm going to spray this down. I'm not going to really use bore cleaner or anything. I'm just going to spray my brush down. Wow. That's a 45 brush, but it's not even trying to touch the barrel. I need something bigger. Give it just a minute. Okay, here we are. This is another 45 brush. It's just from a different kit. I guess my other one's kind of old or something. Anyway, I'll spray this one down. Messy there. Yeah, I'm pretty anxious to try this gun out. It's going to be a much different beast than my 500 mag. My 500 mag is a big cartridge, but it's a big, stupid, huge gun too. This is not that. This is going to be a completely different experience. I'm kind of interested to see what it does. Here's something I do. I don't know if anybody else does it. Sometimes I take a patch and I put it around my brush. And if I can, sometimes it won't work, but sometimes I shove that through. And when I do that, you always got to be kind of careful taking the patch off the brush. But you can really get a lot of shit off your gun that way. But that might be why this brush didn't work, because I may have done that too many times with this and made it smaller than it is, or it should be. Alright, so we've got the barrels somewhat clean. This is not a tutorial on how to clean a gun, by the way, because there's probably, well, there is more to it. If this was a gun I had shot before, I would be doing more to it. I'd be running more patches through it. I'd be putting actual bore cleaner in it. I'd be doing quite a few things differently, but since this is a gun that's actually just, just out of the box, and I'm just getting 3 years worth of crud off it, because of that, I'm just doing kind of a basic cleanup on it. So, let's run a couple patches through it. Gun cleaning kits are, they're something that's cheap, but never hurts to have a few of them around. And a lot of patches. Always have a good, big, huge bag of patches sitting around, because the last thing you want to do is be right in the middle of cleaning a gun and run out of patches. You'll be running into your bedroom and picking out old cotton t-shirts to cut up. Done that before. This is a 5-shot, by the way. It's not a 6-shot. I think you could, Taurus has made both. I think you could get a 6-shot at different points. This one's just a 5. It's fine with me. I don't care. Well, see how that dirt was in there? This isn't even a gun that has been fired yet. Not by me, anyway. I'm sure they shot it at the factory. But yeah, I figure at the very least I've got a nice 45 Colt pistol if I don't like shooting the 45, or I'm sorry, the 454 out of it. Quite a bit of shit in here. Another thing I do that is probably not kosher, but I do it anyway. A lot of times I'll just flip my patch over like that. I think you're supposed to, most people say just use a clean patch each time, but I do this just to kind of save some patches. And again, this is not what I would normally do for a cleaning. This is just a basic trying to get shit off the gun kind of a cleaning. Just a basic cleanup of a gun that was sitting on somebody's shelf for a long, long time. So let's look, see if I can find that rust spot again. See if I can, I think there it is. And you can barely see it anymore. That CLP's had time to sit there and really dig in, and I think it's not even there. I brought some steel wool that I was going to use if the rust was being stubborn, but it's really not. It's come off of there pretty easy. A lot of times people think they get rust on a gun and it's just worthless after that. If it's just really light surface rust, you can get it off pretty easy. Like, I can still see where it was, and I may yet use this. You don't want to use this very much because this is a bead blasted finish, but I've got some oil on here and I'm using real light pressure. This is probably going to be a mark on this gun that I'll see, but nobody else will see. It really is getting where I can't even see it anymore, so. Yeah, this gun has cleaned up pretty well so far, so I feel like my the deal that I got on it was really good at this point. Oh yeah, that rust is all but gone now. It's all but gone. You can take rust off a gun pretty easy as long as it's not just completely rusted up. I've got guns that have gotten just rust just all over. And with a little bit of oil or CLP and some steel wool and some patience and know-how, it's not that big a deal. Just don't use a lot of pressure. You don't want to ruin the finish on the gun, but the steel wool, real fine steel wool, real fine, will get a lot of that off of there. I guess, what are we at, 20 minutes? I got like 9 or 10 minutes left I can talk. Taurus, my opinions on Taurus have kind of gone up and down over the years. As of right now, it's actually pretty up. I used to have a Ruger Super Red Hawk 44 mag. It was a very unpleasant gun to shoot, but I got it because, Rugers are really strong, and I wanted something that could shoot those Buffalo Bore 340 grain plus P plus hard cast loads and stuff. Just wanted the baddest 44 you could get, and that pretty much is a Smith & Wesson, a Ruger Super Red Hawk. But it was not a pleasant gun to shoot at all, and I actually didn't have really good luck shooting that gun, period. I never could get it to shoot in the same place twice. And if you look online, the Ruger Super Red Hawks sometimes have issues with the rear sight moving around, and I kind of think that's what I had going on. But I was a complete noob to big bore revolvers at the time, and I just figured that I just couldn't handle a 44 mag, that it just was not for me. So after a couple years, I think, of shooting that gun and really trying to get good with it and failing, I got rid of it. And I don't remember what I got for it, but I later on saw a Taurus M44 at my gun shop, and it was just dirt cheap. I think $450. It was a 6.5 inch barrel with these ports right up here, had those, and it was just cheap. And I thought, I'm going to give it another shot. I'm going to give the 44 mag another go. And so I picked that gun up, and lo and behold, I actually shot it really well. And that was the day that I decided that, Ruger is not all, it's not the end all be all. They're good guns, they're fine guns. I like my SP101 just fine. But, just because you buy from a good brand, it's not a guarantee that you're going to get a good gun. It's not a guarantee. And that goes for anybody, any company. I'm not trying to knock Ruger, that's for anybody. But anyway, I really liked that 44. The only problem was the barrel. If you looked right here, the barrel was clocked wrong or canted. It was closer to this side than it was that side, meaning the barrel was turned this way a little too much. Well, I really liked the gun, so I said, since I like it so much, I'm actually going to send it back and let Ruger try to fix it, which I normally don't do. But I liked that gun enough that I decided to do that. And so I sent it back to Taurus, and the people at Taurus were actually really nice to talk to and deal with. They had my gun, though, for about 4 or 5 months. They had it for a long time, and they eventually came back and said, we can't fix your gun, but we'll give you a new gun. And I thought, well, that's really cool of them. I will do that. Yes, please send me a new gun. They said the only problem is we don't have another gun like that to send to you. And I thought, well, damn it. But they only had like some 357s, and the only 44 mag they had was a 4-inch without ports. So I took that gun. I didn't really want to because I liked the ports on the 6.5, and I knew that the 4-inch would kick more. But I went ahead and let them do it, and I said, sure, go ahead and send it to me. And they sent it to me, and I liked it. It shot pretty good, actually, too. It also shot better than that Ruger I had. But the only problem was after about a week of shooting at this screw right here backed out, and the cylinder release was just dangling. It was like swinging. And I said, you know what? I've had so much trouble with Taurus at this point. I'm just going to dump this gun. So I did. I dumped that gun. Sold it to my uncle for dirt cheap, who I'm sure laughed his way all the way to the bank with it. And I kind of just didn't think much about Taurus for a while after that. But one day I was at my gun shop again, and I got to thinking about how much I liked that 6.5 inch M44 that I had. And they didn't have an M44 there that day, but I did decide to go ahead and take a chance on Taurus again, and I bought a 7-shot Model 66. And let me tell you something, that is a sweet shooting gun. It's a 7-shot 357, and that thing is just a beautiful, sweet shooting revolver. And it kind of made me think differently about Taurus. Because if that was a good gun, then, you know, they can do it. They can do it. So today I bought this one, and you know, other than this one being pretty dirty, it seems like, or I hope that this one is as good as my M66 is. But you know, you don't really hear bad things about the Raging Bulls. Most of the things you hear about a Raging Bull are normally, you know, pretty good. You don't hear about anyone having problems with them. My only gripe so far is there's a stupid ass Allen key holding this grip on instead of a flathead. Anyway, there you go. My first impressions of this gun. Hopefully this looks better, and hopefully it shows up in the video, but I think it looks a lot better already. Let's see if I can get it to focus. Nope. That's okay. It looks a lot better already, and I really kind of hope this turns out like my 357 did. It's a good gun. First impressions. Let's talk about that real quick before we go. Double action trigger pull. That is a massively heavy double action trigger pull. I will be getting a spring kit for this post haste. Very heavy. That's probably like 14 or 15 pounds. That's really heavy. Single action is also actually pretty heavy. I don't know what weight that is, but that's a pretty heavy trigger pull. I have not shot this. Of all places, I found some 454 Casull ammo at my local Walmart. So I went ahead and bought some, and we will be taking this to the range very soon to let y'all see how it shoots. I'm very excited to go try this out. This is kind of a dream gun for me. Like I said, I'm kind of trying to collect all the Resident Evil guns. I know that the 454 was never in Resident Evil, but the Raging Bull had an appearance. And in, what is it, Resident Evil 0, I think they use a Taurus 44 of some kind. It kind of looks like a mix of a Raging Bull and an M44. But anyway, so I've got this, and I've got the Smith & Wesson 500, which was in Resident Evil 5, and maybe one or two others, I'm not sure. Anyway, so now all I need to get is a Python, ha ha ha, that's not happening, or a Desert Eagle someday, and I may one day have all the Resident Evil guns. The sights on this thing are not awesome. Let me see. It's just a black front sight. But I noticed that it's held in with a pin, so I'm hoping I can maybe knock that out and replace this at some point, push that pin out. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. I will let you know how this thing shoots when we go out to the range. Taurus Raging Bull 454 5-inch, son. See y'all later. Bye.